Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be starting our new unit, Unit 9, World Nutrition and Hunger. I'm going to ask you to have a sheet of paper handy because there's going to be a few notes that I'm going to ask you to take down from the lessons that we do, since we don't have a booklet or anything like that. I would title it Unit 9, World Nutrition and Hunger. All right, so first let's talk about what nutrition is. So nutrition, it relies heavily on soil, right? If you don't have soil, then we're not going to have food. Everything that we eat, either directly or indirectly, comes from the soil. In order to remain healthy and maintain body function, people have to consume sufficient amounts of 4 major nutrient groups as well as meet a minimum of energy requirements. The main nutritional groups are as follows, and you might already be familiar with this. So people need to have carbohydrates, which we get from some kind of sugar. Sugar isn't just in the form of lollipops or monster drinks. It also comes in white corn and rice, so any kind of pasta, those types of things. And why do you have to have carbs? Main source of the body's energy. So if you've been in school and you've been tired and you decide that you're going to have a beverage that has a lot of sugar in it, then that's going to give you a boost of energy. The next nutrient that people need to have is something that's called a lipid. A lipid is some oil or some kind of a fat, and you get that from eating meat, olives, nuts, those types of things. And lipids or fats are very important because they help form the membranes of your cells and keep your cells together, and also your hormones, which helps you grow up and helps you process a lot of things in your body. You also need to get in protein, which you get from eating any kind of animal food, and you can also get protein from plants, and that helps maintain all your body structures. So you are built on, all living things are built on different types of proteins. You also need to have vitamins. They are needed to promote body function. Okay, so now you're going to write major nutrients: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and vitamins. And just speaking real quickly of a vitamin that we all need, you might, if you've studied any of your history with exploration, you might remember that people would often die on these large ships of something that's called scurvy. And scurvy is a vitamin deficiency from vitamin C, which you get vitamin C from eating things like citrus, lemons, and there's vegetables that have vitamin C as well. Alrighty, so what is hunger? So hunger is not having enough to eat to meet energy requirements. Hunger can lead to malnutrition, but absence of hunger does not imply the absence of malnutrition. So you have to have a certain amount of food to eat to meet energy requirements. And even though your belly might be full, that doesn't mean that you will not necessarily have malnutrition. Alrighty, so malnutrition is a condition resulting when a person's diet does not provide adequate nutrients for growth and maintenance, or when a person is not able to utilize the food consumed due to illness. So here I have 2 pictures that, well, for sure this picture on the right, these are children who are suffering from malnutrition. A lot of people think that, oh, well, they've got this great big belly, their bellies are full. Their bellies are not full. These kids have malnutrition, and what happens after a while of going with so little food is your liver starts to swell and you get this sort of distended belly. So these kids are not healthy. Then my picture on the right shows 2 kids who are chowing down on some nachos. Well, if you live your life from eating junk food and not getting anything in your diet like fresh fruit, vegetables, a good source of protein, then your body will then lack in certain nutrients, and then you too can also suffer from malnutrition. So malnutrition doesn't necessarily mean a distended belly and being skinny. Malnutrition can also look like somebody who may be overweight. Alrighty, according to the World Health Organization, 1/3 of the world's people suffer from a deficiency in one or more vitamins and minerals. Most frequently in developing countries, right? So those are our poor countries, and usually involves vitamin A, iron, and iodine. Okay, so you're going to write now, most people lack vitamins in diets in developing countries. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at diets around the world. So here I have a graph that shows the orange bar where the diet comes from carbohydrates. The Purple comes from fats, and then the green comes from proteins. So this is the orange from carbohydrates and alcohol. Now that doesn't mean alcohol that, like, you're drinking. Those are sort of other fermented types of foods, and then fats and proteins. So according to the graph, what's the difference in diet between developed and developing countries? So when you take a look at developed countries, that's like us, the US, Europe, those types of things, and you take a look at developing countries, you'll see that our diet, we have a lot more access, and we have a lot more fat and a lot more protein in our diet compared to those people that are in developing countries. Okay, so now you're going to write developed countries, wealthy like the USA, have more protein and fats in their diets. Okay, so why do people go hungry? So although global food production has remained ahead of global population growth, in other words, we have more than enough food compared to the number of people that we have on the planet, still 1 out of 6 people in developing countries is still not getting enough to eat. This can cause things like stunting. So stunting is a gradual and cumulative process during the first 1,000 days window from conception through the first 2 years of a child's life. So in other words, as soon as the egg is fertilized in the mama, until the child is 2 years of age, if the mother and the child do not get enough nutrients, then that child is going to be stunted. So globally, 1 out of 4 children under 5 are stunted, and a greater proportion of school-age children, adolescent and adults experience the results of having been stunted during their early childhood. So even if at age 2, if the nutrition, if that period of lack of nutrients ends and the child starts to get enough food, they are still going to be stunted. So the picture that I've included here shows these kids. This line right here is where the average 8-year-old height should be in the world. And as you can see, these kids fall far below that line, and that's because they experienced, they're victims of stunting. There's another condition that's called wasting. So acute malnutrition, which is really bad malnutrition, or wasting develops as a result of recent rapid weight loss or a failure to gain weight. Wasting is often used to assess the severity of an emergency because it is caused by illness and or sudden severe lack of food and is strongly related to mortality. In other words, I mean, you could see if I show you a lot of pictures of babies who are wasting that, you could probably guess that those children are going to die. So here's a picture of 3 babies, and this is what this baby should look like. This is the normal weight. This is the baby that we talked about who's stunted. So even though this baby doesn't look like they're suffering from malnutrition, at some point in this child's life, the mother and the baby did not get enough nutrients. And then this baby is suffering from severe malnutrition and is now wasting. All right, so what are causes of malnutrition? So the root causes are 1, poverty. Poverty, which prevents people from growing or buying enough food. Number 2, inequitable distribution. In other words, it prevents people from obtaining their share of the available food resources, so they can't get to the food that is there. And then number 3, periods of extreme drought can also lead to people not getting enough to eat. Droughts can cause crop failure and lead to starvation. Now you're going to write causes of malnutrition. 1, poverty. 2, inequitable distribution. And then number 3, drought. So what prevents people from obtaining food? Well, war and corruption of governments are common causes of food not being distributed to individuals who need it most. In addition, transportation of food is often a problem. Famine. If there's a widespread epidemic of malnutrition and starvation, that is going to be a famine. Famine is usually caused by a catastrophic event like war or a natural disaster. A drought is more likely to cause famine in places where the food is locally grown. Alrighty, so now I'm going to have you write the causes of, of food insecurity, right? So one, right, we said war, corrupt government, and transportation. Oh, not food insecurity, of inequitable distribution. Sorry. So there are places in Africa that have food. They're like food shelters where people can come and they can get rice and some protein. But if you can't get there, right, then you can't get to that food. And then later on, I'll be showing you a little clip about how government can keep people from getting to food, and of course, war. That makes perfectly good sense. All right, the last thing I want to show you is this hunger map. So this is the hunger map from 2019, and let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So less than, if the country is blue, less than 2.5% are not getting enough to eat. Green, less than 5%. Yellow, 5 to almost 15% of the people are not getting enough to eat. Orange, 15 to about 25% are not getting enough to eat. Red, 25 to 35% of the people not getting enough to eat. And then I would say that's maroon, greater than 35% of the people not getting enough to eat.